BJ Watts. I am from Evansville, Indiana, the tip of the boot, bottom of the state. And we're going to run through some of the things that we've done at Evansville that have been successful with that, transitioning our students predominantly going to the end of the workforce, but not solely. A little bit of background on Evansville. We are not a major city. We're the third largest district in Indiana, but we're about 25,000 students, a city of about 200,000 people. But we're very fortunate to have a lot of industry. So we do understand that while Indiana has lots of rural areas, those aren't fights that we have to fight. So you'll see with some of our partners, the investments that they've made, we are very blessed to have partners that have the capacity to work with us. So OptIN. One of the things, this came into creation in 2019. I told this earlier. I was taught social studies my entire career. For the last 4 years, I was teaching PE. My superintendent, who hired me originally, said, "Hey, I want you to look at this job," because I had spent 12 years on city council. I also served on the State Board of Education in Indiana, so I have a lot of different lenses. But I was getting to play dodgeball every Friday. Like, I was not looking for a career change, but I'm really glad that I made the move. So if there's one advice I could give, it would be that someone owns this work. There were pockets of this happening throughout Evansville. We have 9 high schools. So if you had a counselor or a teacher that believed in this work, it was getting done. But there was no system in place to ensure that all of our students were getting that across the board. So if everybody owns it, nobody owns it. So that is why OptIN has come into existence. So we own this work now. You can see our 4 pillars there that lead to any of these 3 things. This is what we consider success. If you are employed, if you're in a high-wage position, if you are enlisted, or you are enrolled in post-secondary education. Any of those 3, we celebrate all 3 of those equally. So through this work, you can see the themes that we've talked about this entire conference here. But that parent-student education piece is probably the most difficult for us. The parents more so than the students. Because for so long, the only metric that K-12 has used for success is how many students we got into college. Not that completed it, because 62% of them come back home without a degree. But we got into college. You know, we got them across the stage. And I always tell them, and that's a huge shift, mindset shift for teachers and counselors that we fight every day. The way I always phrase it is we celebrate our students on May 25th. This is the day I use. I don't know what, that's our graduation date. And I said, I don't care about May 25th. What's your student doing on June 1st? That's what concerns me. But for so long, we got to May 25th and we said, good luck, there's someone else going to mess with this now. So this kind of just what we've worked towards is kind of blurring that line between whatever your post-secondary plan is. And again, I know that Evansville is very, almost perfectly sized. I was a glutton for punishment. I spent 12 years on the city council at Evansville, so I formed relationships with a lot of folks that allowed us to work towards this. Our first one is RAMP. This is our crown jewel. Miracle Foods they're one of 3 companies in the United States that make MREs for the military. They also do lots of food processing for Fortune 50 companies. They're about 1,000 employees. And what they have done is, what RAMP does is, Miracle built classrooms on site for our students. And I'll go back to the students that we selected. Number 1, we built a metric because we wanted to, there are so many of our students, like we have a career and technical center, $200 million building, with 22 programs, it's amazing. But a lot of the students with the most need weren't getting into those programs. So RAMP was built to serve those students, and we truly, the metric we have, if you have an incarcerated parent, you get a point. If you're on free and reduced lunch, live with subsidized housing, any of those things, you get a point. If a child of your own, you get a point. So we truly serve the neediest students in our district. I was talking to Eric earlier and I said, I had a junior that had 3 credits who started this program in 2019 and graduated on time and is still employed at AmeriCorps.
That's good.
Amazing. But the selection of that partner, AmeriCorps has gone above and beyond. They built classrooms at their facility. So these students don't go to their traditional high schools. They never go to their high school. They go to AmeriCorps every day. We follow AmeriCorps' schedule. So we did work out to where they are still children. So we did give us 2 days of spring break, give us 1 week at Christmas. But other than that, they work throughout the summer. They follow AmeriCorps' work schedule. And there are 80 students enrolled. So there are 40 students with the A shift and the Q shift, AmeriCorps. The A shift is doing their math, science, and history in the morning, their classwork, and the Q shift is working on the line. And then they have lunch and they trade places. And this is it's a paid work program. So that also is one barrier for a lot of our students, like they have to work. So if we can give them the opportunity to earn some money, help support their families, you can do that during the school day. Now all of a sudden that barrier of having to be at work at a Dairy Queen until midnight is eliminated also. And we do a hybrid, we use Apex. It's a hybrid virtual learning, so we do have classroom teachers in all of the classrooms, but you may be in Algebra 2 and I may be in pre-algebra or pre-calc. It's just a math teacher is in the room. So the student works at their own pace through Apex, online courses, and when they finish, and with those Apex courses, it is if there's 10 lessons, they're broken out into how far along they should be at this point. So there's spots they should hit. And as long as they hit those every Friday, the students, as long as you are in green, which means you are on track, you can work a double shift on Friday. So the kid's gonna make another $60 or $70 that day, and that's a motivation to them to stay online. The biggest data point I can give you here, just about relevance and students buying in and kind of seeing some light at the end of the tunnel, is our average cohort attendance is 52%. They miss 90 days, it's at the school year before they start this program, and we're at almost 98 when they finish. So we're at 97.6 is our number.
Wow.
I'll give one story. Sparkle, who's my favorite kids ever come through this program, came through graduation, was one of our first class, 2019 graduate still. Actually, she's a line leader now. Living a great life. Mom had never had a career. Grandma had never had a career. They saw the life that Sparkle was building for herself. And now Mom and Grandma both also work at AmeriCorps. So that impact and that civic mindedness that AmeriCorps has built has served them. But this is our crown jewel, and this one's fully embedded. Like this, our students are working besides adults, which bring about another set of parameters you have to make sure that you're addressing. But the partnerships that we've had, AmeriCorps actually changed their shift time to when they start. First shift, because of our bus schedule, they moved folks from second shift to first shift. It would be great to work with kids, because being in charge of 17-year-olds while they're being in charge of a 35-year-old. So they found the folks with those skills and brought them in. So that's one of those ramp. In our graduation rate, our state average is 92 for all students, and we're at 98 with our ramp students. And again, there's no way of saying that they wouldn't have graduated, because we don't know that. But if history is an indicator, these students probably would have graduated high school. But we kind of give them something that's allowed them to just have a different experience. And that experience became relevant to them. So it's been successful. Our next one is Deaconess Health Systems. And I should have said to begin with, I apologize. We're in the Midwest. Manufacturing dominates. It's number one in our city, number one in our region, number one in the state. Number two is healthcare. We're a city of 200,000 people. Deaconess Health System employs 9,000. So Deaconess Health System is a huge employer in Evansville. It's actually the largest behind Berry Global, which you'll see in just a minute. So we went and we sat down with Deaconess, who had a hard, I mean, you're in healthcare, I'm sure we understand, a hard 18-year-old policy, and must be a high school graduate to step foot into their facility to work. Took us 3 years to kind of crack that. And one of the reasons it got cracked was because of the success of the RAMP program. They saw that these 16 and 17-year-olds, there was kind of some proof in the pudding, so they saw that, okay, maybe this can work. So we went and sat down with them and said, what are your most immediate needs? And what is your largest projected needs? These 5 things are what they came up with. You'll see this second circle, this light Carolina blue circle here. Pharmacy tech, sterile processing, phlebotomy, PCT, and CCMA. Those are most of your needs. Keep in mind, this company has I looked before I left, 987 posted job openings right now. So, huge need. Across the board, almost 1,000 job openings. So we went back as K-12 and said, okay, what 3 courses that are dual credit courses, so it's no cost to the student, can we offer at all of our high schools that will allow them to go into any one of these? So this dark blue circle here with the principles of healthcare, concentrator A and concentrator B. Indiana has what's called the programs of study. So all of your CTE coursework has to be aligned to count. You can't take 3 random courses, random acts of dual credits, what I like to call it, and that count for your graduation. It has to be aligned towards some certification or area of study. So if you take these 3 courses, Principles A, Concentrator A, and Concentrator B, you can go into any one of those 5 after that. So you take the 3 courses as a junior, and then your senior year, you have a 1-semester rotation at the hospital where you get to work in all 5 of those departments. Then once that's finished, your second semester, you apply for an internship. Everyone gets placed, but it is a selection at that point. So if everyone wants to be a farm tech, you may not get to be a farm tech. So this is, in the light blue circle, is a 1-year certification that the students will finish in high school. Now, if they want to continue on, I'll use this one as an example. My junior year, I take this coursework. My senior year, I finished, I'm working as a sterile processing technician, which in Indiana is $24 an hour. I know that doesn't, and the average household income in Indiana is $54,000 a year. So if you're making almost that yourself with this position with a 1-year certification. Now, if you want to continue on, you become a surge tech, which puts you in that $29 an hour range. And the same thing. So this light blue circle is a 1-year certification. The gray circle, an Ivy Tech, we have a statewide community college network that we partner with. And they offer all of these. And then this second one is an associate's degree, and then there's actually another circle here, but I took it out. That you can move towards, this one would be nursing, you can move towards a bachelor's degree or the PhD, whatever. But coursework, 1-year certificate, associate's degree, and this is what we built with our partner. They house our students. They became our lab. Because at our Career and Tech Center, we have an amazing health sciences department, but we have a waiting list of 140 students that applied that didn't get in. So the question came, okay, how can we serve those students and give them those experiences? I can't build a $40 billion lab at 9 different high schools. We can use our industry partner as the lab. And that's where the Deaconess Health System came in. The next one is Berry Forklift Certification Program. Berry Global, guarantee there's something in this room that was made by Berry. They're the largest plastics company in the world. That's where I talk about how lucky we are. Again, we're not really a city, we're a couple 100,000 people. But Berry Global's world headquarters, 65,000 employee company, is based in Evansville. $25 billion a year company, I mean, they're huge. They make every McDonald's cup across the world is built in a plant in Evansville, Indiana. They're the same with Arby's, Wendy's, Tito's vodka, little orange lids. all made by Barry. So they came to us and said, they just built 2 million plus square foot warehouses. Hey, we need forklift drivers. Again, I can afford to hire a teacher to teach that course because they make more money than, in a lot of cases, teachers do. So what we said is, okay, we'll give you a space and we'll bring you students, but you build the curriculum, you teach the course. And they said, we can do that. So they came in, we gave them a space that started with a single high school, Harrison High School, and those students went through the program. Barry comes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday during an enrichment study hall in our minds. That the students have every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Barry comes in, they teach the course. They rent the forklift. There was actually a video, I believe, this morning. I missed the Red State Board video this morning, I'm sorry. That was an example of those students driving. It's really cool to see. First time I get on it, like it's neat to see how good at this they are. So, and again, this job comes in $29 an hour where you start when you're 18 years old. You have no debt. All of our partners have to offer tuition reimbursement or we'll partner with you. So that way, if one of my kiddos comes to work for you and decide, hey, I want to do HR or I want to get my associate's degree, you don't have to fund everything, but you have to in some way do some type of a reimbursement or some incentive for them to continue their education. Because we tell them, you can go get a job yourself tomorrow, you don't need us. We want to give you a career that you understand what that career ladder looks like. So that's what Barry's done. Year 1 was 2019, we had 8 students. 1 went to Rose Holman and is an engineering major and still comes back and works in the summers. The other 6 of the 7 are still employed. In year 2, we had 45 students. We get that the program, the world shut down in 2020, but they still hired 29 of our 45. And then this year was our 3rd year back, we didn't allow the building in 21. So this was we came back online this year, and we have 19 students, and all 19 students got hired in this position. So again, I know not everyone has a company that one will work with 17-year-olds. This one's actually different. You have to be 18 to take this test. So this one is, you have to turn 18 by May 15th in order to apply to this program. And we do all of this in 1 semester, 2nd semester, senior year. And you see students, I wish we do this as juniors, because you see students that struggle with traditional high school, and when they get here, they thrive, and everything gets better. Math gets better, science gets better, English gets better. I mean, because they finally found, hey, this is what I'm pretty good at. They have some success, and they understand why those things are relevant now. But yeah, they're an amazing partner in that program we've placed. They told us that I'm sure I'm not sharing trade secrets here, but their retention rate is about 45%, and it's 70 on the students that come through this program. So off the street is 45, the students that come through here, it's 70% retention. There's just an example of kiddo driving that. 4T Academy. We also have Toyota has a plant just outside of Evansville, Indiana. The same thing. They said we need more students to be interested in manufacturing. What can we do? And we said we will give you a space. You have to help provide us that instruction. So we built them. I wish I had video. We didn't have it before we left, but we just got the line put in. So the students come in every day during this coursework as juniors, and they do similar to that dark blue circle. They do the 3 courses that are required in the program of study for manufacturing. And then the folks from Toyota come in and teach on the line. So they do hands-on work. The Toyota built this entire lab in just a room that we gave them. And now, that's why I wish, it's not here if you can, or I would have the video, but like where I'm standing right here, there's now a functioning car. It's about the size of a desk that the students walk along with the drills, the air drills, and they work, they put the door on, they put the mirror on, they put this on. Like they do what they would do at Toyota. You can see even on the floor, That's the floor of the manufacturing, same thing. If it's green, you can walk without stopping. If it's yellow, you understand that that's also it's a shared traffic lane with a forklift. And if it's red, you have to stop. I think it's every 9 feet. Same rules as Toyota. So the floor of the actual classroom is built. This girl right here is a state champion long jumper, 2-time, full ride University of Kentucky. And so school wasn't like she couldn't. She knew she was going to school, still wanted to do this program, now wants to do engineering, and she's working for Toyota in the summer. She's awesome. But these students, same way. Year 1, we had 16, 15 are still employed. We're in year 3. Year 2, we had right at 20, and I think 17 are still employed. And this year we had 16, and all of them have accepted positions. Except for Diamond, because she's going to Kentucky. But she is doing a summer internship there, and will probably end up there. But this is just another example of we have 9 different high schools. We're spread out across the entire county. So I can't hire someone to teach manufacturing in all 9 of my high schools, but we use the industry partner to create the curriculum, to provide the curriculum. We just give them space and students. And again, a lot of these, Toyota let us know for a long time, because of the 18 mark. We couldn't get there until finally a plant in Texas said, hey, we're doing it. Texas being Texas, they did it and it worked, which created a policy change across the world for Toyota. So now, the investment they've made is several $100,000 a year is their investment in this program. But again, they said that their retention rate is in the 90s, which they're like, it's money so well spent for us. They just put in a new Lexus line. So there's 1,400 new jobs coming on. They're all in that $23 to $25 range. So I mean, there's at the end of this, there's a spot for these students to be. And then their senior year, apologize, I didn't get that far. So their junior year, they do the coursework. Their senior year, they go to Toyota 3 days a week and work, and it's paid employment. And Toyota actually provided us, they wrote a check to our foundation, so we're providing the transportation. But they put, because it's about a 30-minute drive, they put Wi-Fi in all our buses so the students can work on their Chromebooks while they're heading to and from work. Again, picking the partner, know how lucky we are. And almost all of this has come because that leap of faith that AmeriQual took when there was no proof of the pudding. We could have started that, they spent a couple $1 million and it didn't work. But that's what we've learned is if you can share those stories across the country, then it makes all of those employers a little more likely, like, okay, if it's working there, then it may work here. But 4T is another example of those partnerships. Now we also go into, when we talk about direct to workforce, high schools are very good at laying out what the requirements are to FAFSA, to enter college, how to apply to college, how to fill out your FAFSA. But there wasn't anyone that owned that, okay, if we go directly into the workforce, what does that look like? What does that look like for you in the fall and spring of your senior year? So OptIN handles that work. When all of our partners, again, have that tuition reimbursement, has to be high wage, high demand jobs, but we ask them also, okay, lay out what a career looks like for me. I don't want my students to know, again, we're very manufacturing heavy in the Midwest. I want them to understand, like, this may be where I enter, but where can I end up? That's what I want to know. So all of them, for every department, this is AmeriQual's example, they built out, this is production one's where you enter, but that's the career ladder for one department at AmeriQual. So now the student understands, okay, this is what the next 15 to 20 years of my life can look like, as opposed to, this is my job when I'm 18 and I don't really love this part of it. But I have to get in there, I have to earn my stripes. Then I can start seeing my career. And then there's a fourth one there that shows the education attainment that's required for some of those step-ups. And all of our partners make these for every individual position. We're also a very union heavy town, lots of skilled trades. Number one employer is manufacturing, number two is healthcare, number three is skilled trades. So that's where we start that's our focus groups. This would be another sheet that we'll take in. So we take those sheets I just showed you from Miracle and these, and go in and lay out, okay, here's what a pipe fitter does. Here's what an electrician most students get, but here's what a carpenter does. Here's what a insulators union does. And lay all of those things out for the students. Again, we don't push them in any direction. We don't care what they pick. We just want them to understand what their opportunities are. And all of these, like you can see that base salary is 27 to start, plus the fringes where they pay for your insurance, they pay for all of your retirement. So that entire package is about $50 an hour, and you're 18 years old. And I always say, I practice what I preach here. My oldest son went to Indiana University, human biology major, supported that decision completely. My youngest is an electrician, year one apprentice. Supported that decision just as much as I did my oldest going to IU. So, we don't think there's more than one way to Brownstown, which is a very small town outside of Evansville. So, we want our students to understand, we don't care what you pick. What are you good at? What do you like to do? You're going to work every single day. What do you like to do? Do you want to be outside? Do you like doing these things? Do you like working with your hands? But we celebrate those decisions all equally when we didn't used to do that. So we go in and sit down with those students, do a 20,000-foot view presentation, and then once they narrow their field of, okay, I like this and I like that, then we bring in the industry partner. So it's no longer, that kind of streamlines their time, and we have students that are very serious. So it's not me asking them to come in to Barry Global, who's running a $25 billion company, to come in and talk to 400 students when 15 of them hear what they have to say. So by the time I bring in the industry partner, we've vetted the student, we've had multiple conversations with them, so we understand that they're serious, and the industry partners really appreciate that because it limits the time that they have to spend away from the office. And then we have a signing day, because we truly want to celebrate those students that are going into the workforce the same way that we do the student that's going to go play football at IU. Year one, we had 7, I just had this on Thursday, it's my favorite day of the year. Year one, 2019, we had 7 industry partners and 31 students. And this year we had over 51 businesses and 162 students that are going directly into the workforce into high wage positions. Pretty special day. We had about 400 parents show up. This is my favorite day of the school year. It's pretty cool. But you have to do these things. And like these are senior level executives. Like this player here is Mary Reeves. That's the HR director for all of Berry Global. 65,000 employees. She's the HR director, and she's there because it's important to her. That's the kind of buy-in that you have to have. We also do the armed services. You can see we have a very alphabetical order, so it's Miracle, Berry, on down. But anyone entering any of the armed services or going directly into the workforce into a high wage position, we recognize you. And it takes, it's a morning, it's a half day out of school, but the parents love it. And the students start to feel proud of the decisions that they've made. And we, Evansville, had never made them feel that way. So that is why this signing day is so important. Now, this used to be my method for success. Like, okay, this is what, am I running, hello, I'm on time, I left my phone back there. Am I good?
Like, at least 5 minutes more.
Okay, awesome. So this used to be my method for success. I placed 162 students. Good job. We placed 162 students. And that was kind of where I said, good job us. But what we have gone back to is, okay, that's just another picture from signing day. Because we want to know, have we given our students the ability to sustain employment? That's our new metric. Again, you can get a job tomorrow without me. Someone will hire you. Have I given you the skills to sustain employment? So what we do now is everyone that participated in signing day, we have a cell number 4 and a personal email, and 6, 12, and 18 months out, we're going to check in with all those students to say, are you still employed? Have you completed any school, any post-secondary education? Have you been promoted? Are the 3 questions we're gonna ask. And our industry partners are actually buying little gift certificates, $10 to Chick-fil-A or wherever, that we're gonna give you for completing those surveys. And this is gonna become our new metric, because we had never before looked at, okay, we got them hired, I got them into college, but were they successful? And we could never answer that question. So this has become our new metric that we started this year, so forgive me with no data on it. But 6, 12, 18 months out, we'll know. And our success will be different than the company's success, because if that student leaves Toyota and goes to Berry Global, that's still winning to me. May not be a Toyota, but they're still in a high-wage position. So that is how we will judge our success. And I believe, yeah, that's it. Any questions on any of those? It's a lot.
We've got a good 15 minutes, so I think the questions either for you or for Amelia.
Absolutely.
This is open discussion time.
Question for Amelia. Did the conversation about teacher preparation come up, like with that group? Like, I'm just kind of wondering if there was any insight that came into the teacher preparation.
Yeah, absolutely. So just for some additional context, the educators that were listed there was a range of mostly special educators, some administrators, and some general educators, but like I said, mostly special educators. And I would say that was a big part of the conversation, mostly around how do I provide intervention, how do I provide evidence-based instruction with time constraints, and with this kind of push and pull out constraint issue.
Yeah, that was also a little bit of talk about the difference between special education teacher prep and general education teacher prep, and kind of how the silo is built within a teacher prep programs and goes out into the field that way. So yeah, there was a lot of talk about that for sure.
We could get into that.
Yeah.
We can have a conversation.
Yeah, absolutely.
I have a question for BJ.
Okay.
With the programs that you're doing with the industry partners, like obviously you have a Toyota lab in one school and Berry lab maybe in a different school.
Yeah.
Do students have the opportunity to go to a different school from the one they're districted for if they want to?
Yeah, they're all innovative models where if I go to Harrison High School and I want to go to Ball State High School for Toyota 4T, there's transportation. So it's a morning program, so you still go back to your home high school for lunch and after school stuff, but you have the option to come to all of those. Berry is not very specific to Harrison just because they can only handle 40 students and Harrison has 40 students a year that apply for it. So we've kind of outgrown there. I do feel like Berry's big enough to scale this into our other high schools. But this is again the first, we've just come back online, so to push that too hard, but the goal is always to have it in, to offer it in all of our high schools.
And you've just said that they'd go back to their home high school.
Yeah.
Now, do you provide transportation?
We do,
Is that
but everything's bused.
That's very.
So another question. You said that the students receive instruction in the core academics, like one part of the day, and then they rotate, right? Are those K-12 credential teachers or
Yeah.
who?
They're all K-12. Indiana's, I would say, on the forefront of the ability to offer dual credit. Our licensing requirements are pretty lenient because we want the students to have those opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
So even those courses that, like the courses that I showed on there that were the college level courses for the healthcare, those are still taught by K-12, by EVSC employees, by K-12 teachers, so it's at no cost to the student.
And higher ed is okay with that?
Higher ed
So for
actually
example, I'm
built
from
it.
California, right? So there's a lot of labor-related issues when it comes to offering dual enrollment. So there's articulated courses, one has to negotiate with each community college because the professors at the college level don't think that the K-12 teachers are prepared, rigorous enough, et cetera, et cetera. So how did you navigate that? You're saying that the state of Indiana there's more leniency in terms of the credentialing, and there's no labor-related.
The articulation agreements are with the state of Indiana for all of our state universities. Now, there's obviously MOUs between the EVSC and Ivy Tech or University of Indiana. Those also exist. But higher ed, why I think they felt a little infringed upon early, understands that this is a feeder system for you as well.
Okay.
Our students taking 9 hours, in most cases 12 or 15 if they're a rock star and do some summer stuff. But, so that's costing you a semester in worst case scenario. But we're building a pipeline for you, and we actually just built one with Academy of Future Educators. We signed the MOU this week, so I didn't have it on here. But it's the same thing. It's like we do a really poor job of promoting our own industry. So we partnered with University of Indiana to build it's a bachelor's degree education. Our students end up with 15 hours. And there's actually a small fee that the EVSC paid for those dual credit, because it's our instructors. It doesn't cost you a sign money. They're just awarding the credit. And the state pays them a flat fee for awarding that credit. But they actually waived the fee on our side. It was like $50 an hour, but it wasn't anything expensive. They said, we're going to do this for free. This is an investment in these students, and we want to make sure that this works. So they waived any cost that the school corporation had.